Speaks Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Hosted by me, Maren, on RCI. Certainly, and we're now live. Welcome to She Speaks. It's another awesome Tuesday. This is our second show for the year, right? The new season, and it's our second show. We started off with a bang, and it looks like we hit the ground running because we've got another amazing feature again today. I'm so excited. I say, where does Lady get in time to sleep? Where she get? She is so active. Her name is Mary Popo. Of course, she may be known to a lot of you guys because she's impacted quite a number of lives in all walks of life to date. So I'm sure once you hear the name, it certainly does ring a bell. And you listen, persons like that needs to be protected at all costs because these are people who understand service, who understand, and have accepted the mantle to serve and serve in whatever capacity that they're needed. And this is so admirable. I am so honored to have her today. Our partner, of course, is the First National Bank. They have been back with us again, and we appreciate them taking, that initiative further beyond the lip service and understanding the importance of putting their backing behind a program or an initiative like this one where we get to highlight our awesome women here in St. Lucia, sometimes in other parts of the region as well. Let's take a word from the partner. We'll be back.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Wonderful. Well, here we are, and we're about to start this amazing conversation. Incidentally, this lady is a retired banker, a financial expert, a guru you could call her in the financial world because she spent quite a number of years there in high position, managerial top positions as well, where you influence a lot of things. Let me say welcome to you. I am so honored to have you, Miss Popo. I am so honored.
And I'm honored to be here as well.
I remember I was trying. I had reached out a long time ago and it didn't happen at the time. Remember, it was
and we did something years ago, long before COVID. Yes. It was around International Women's Day.
Right.
Yes,
so I am honored to have you back again.
Yes.
So we could extend or continue where we left off the last time, or probably touch new waters as well, because there's so much under your belt. So we're gonna go again. Normally we do that. We we just give a little grounding again, a reminder of persons, to the background. Where were you born? What was growing up like, and some of the principles, because it's not just so you're getting up and you're so active.
Yes.
There's got to be something that from there.
Yes.
To me, if you didn't have that from there, you would never have it at that age.
You are so correct, and I'm very happy that we start off there, because this is really where it all started.
Absolutely.
So I'm from the village of Ancillary, born and bred in Ancillary and raised by wonderful parents.
That's awesome.
And the village. And my mom was very particular in having, I've got one brother and a sister. And my mom was very particular about church and building upon your spirituality.
Yes.
And that's where the foundation, came from. Nice. And so in the village, there was, I was involved in a number of activities. Everything that you can think of in the church, in guiding, in you get up in the morning, early morning, and you go to church, and then you go singing Christmas time. Nice. You are I'm a Legion of Mary, and from a little girl, I had to do Legion duties, and that were included going to the elderly homes to actually pray with them, to sweep for them, and all of that. So that's really my foundation. And for those who are Catholic will understand that at the age of 5.5, I made my first communion. And you know, because according to well, my godmother, who already was really one of the tutors, and she told the priest, she knows the catechism. And, you know, and so I was really grounded in church. As I grew up, of course, I began to understand maybe the difference between just religion and spirituality. And that for me was another, you know, eye-opener. Because I was raised around the time at church where it was like the sermons were about a lot of judgment and all of that. And I had to really go deeper and understand the God that we were talking about. So at the age of 16, I started to and ask questions. And who is that God? Is it this white man in the sky and all this kind of thing? And is waiting for me and to be, you know, at the end to judge me and to put me in hell or heaven? That kind of concept. So I had to go through that and understand at the end of it all, God, what resonated, God is love.
Yes.
And he who abides in love abides in God and God in him. And that did it for me. And so for me, the God that I serve and the God of the universe is all-encompassing. And the other quick little thing was, as a child as well, again, learning, you know, the things we learn as a child. So catechism, preparing for first communion. And the question was, who made you? God made me. Why did God made you? God made me to know him, love him, and serve him in this world, and to be happy for him, with him forever in the next. And again, when I unpack that and download that, that is it. So that the God that I serve does not just exist in the church and after Mass and all of that, but it's in everything. Every single thing. And then the other part for me, as I again was, researching and understanding quantum physics and what's happening in the universe and how it operates and the energies and all of that, and it all comes together.
Alignment, isn't it? Wow. What say you two? I mean, we're going to segue. There's a lot happening in terms under your professional banner. You know, there's a lot. There's so much. We won't be able to cover that in half an hour. But I think it's quite amazing that we have you here now at this time. Speaking on the things that you're speaking on now, we just heard one of the address from Minister Responsibility for Education, Casimir, mentioned the need to go back to those core religion, putting back those things into the schools, because I guess we are now seeing the result of removing those sort of discipline in our children. Now, you speaking about how it is that those discipline from a very tender age has shaped you and grounded you. The importance, let's talk to the importance. Give me briefly the importance of ensuring, because a lot of people have all sorts of things in their head. Why it's not a problem, and why we shouldn't bother with these things, and these things are artificially what, and this. So many different connotations they put on it to deviate from it, right? But we have seen the results of the quality of people that produce when they went through the grounding, and the quality of people that we're seeing when they don't have that grounding. Let's speak to the importance of ensuring that we understand that these things played a vital role in the people that we become, in the quality of people that we become, in our characters, in how we relate and respect each other.
That's right.
Let's speak to that, because we seem to be losing ground in that department, and we're skirting all across, all around, looking for solutions. And we're missing the very basic ones.
I agree. I totally agree. It's the fundamentals. I call these things like it's the plumbing. If you're building a house and you have to have, the plumbing, that groundwork that has to be there, because then it becomes your reference point. It becomes, what you judge by, what you live by, what you make your decisions by. You know. And so I totally agree that in schools, because at a very tender age, children are learning very early. In fact, the science says we are learning from the womb, so that the people around us have a responsibility, towards us and the womb to understand that we are picking up from them. So the core values, for me from a child were learn to share. You share with others whatever you have. You respect especially the elderly. You respect them. You wouldn't pass. I wouldn't pass an elderly person and don't say good morning or good afternoon. That sort of and so you respect that. You respect them. You also not just say good morning, but you are helpful.
Yes.
You see where, wow, that person is in distress or something, you were taught to lend a hand. And that's what going as a Legion of Mary did for me. And it also opened my eyes to those who are perhaps less privileged than I am, and how you can help. So these fundamental, and also your own self-worth.
Yeah. And the fellowshipping as well.
And exactly.
Fellowshipping in terms of being able to manage conflict, because you're there in a space where you're interacting with different, you see, they got training from that age, being able to interact and mingle with different people. Exactly.
And that is why for my mom, she had me in guiding and all of these things, because it does teach you leadership. It does teach you sensitivity to people and a whole host. To respect other people's opinions and their views, and they probably throw something at you, and then you learn to, well, it's either you cry as a child, or you navigate it, or and as you go older,
Exactly.
Yes. So these are so very important.
You're very passionate about people development, especially the youth, and you've gone beyond just passion. You have proven. You have worked in ancillary with the school there.
Yes.
You have, put together curated spaces where you interact. You have led quite a number of charges where you impact person's life. You even was part of a literacy
group in
Moshi. You I mean, come on, let's talk about the humanitarian side of you, because you've been a financial person for almost all your life in senior management, and your impact in the financial world has been felt in St. Lucia and the region as well.
Yes.
So we know that is there. Anybody can jump on anywhere, but we really, with a wealth of experience and knowledge and the extensive amount of work that you've done, humanitarian work that you've done, philanthropist work that you've done, I think it will be remiss of us in this era not to tap into that energy this morning. So I don't want to spend too much time on the financial part of things. I really want to spend some time on, because you have been out there. If there's anybody with an authority to be able to speak and speak from that mindset, regarding human or interaction, how it is that we relate with one another, you're very well pleased, because you've gone past just saying it, and you've actually put yourself in the places. You've done what most of us think of, but you have done the work. You have gone into the communities. You have put yourself in leadership position where you serve service. So let's talk about where we are right now. Do we need more of these kinds of things? You were an active financial person with a lot on your hand, and like we said, managerial positions in most of these roles. Yet still you found time to pour in to this humanitarian stuff. So many of them are that. So when we say we don't have time as persons, I want us to go there. It's not to bash people, but I want us for a moment to stop and check ourselves, me included, because we find when opportunities arise for us to pour back into others or pour back into a mission that is going to assist, in enhancing the environment, we tend to shy away from it because we say we don't have time. So who best, if you had time?
I always say the people who do not have, when I say do not have time, they stretch themselves. They always find themselves given more time. And those who probably really have time have not realized it. But for me, the driving force was purpose.
Right.
And understanding that, and that drove everything in the financial sector and in whatever I did, how I assisted. That was that was it. So when I called myself a Christian and a woman of God and all of that, that permeates everything. So it was a time when I was much, young. I already had, I wasn't married yet, just before, and I would see on my bio as well, I'm a founding member of the Folk Research Center.
I was about to tell
Right,
that,
right. And that now, of course, understanding my blackness, who I am, and my, and the resilience of our ancestors, and all of that. In fact, Marine, I think we had the second, my husband and I got married, we had an African wedding. And I think that was the second in St. Lucia.
Oh, come on now.
Okay. So because
Talk
we
about being in
understood
tune.
who we are, okay?
Yes, we
And
must
so
know
at that time, we did a lot of, through Father Anthony, who was really the driving force of all of that, and the group we were in, Kokyuko Singers. And I did a lot of, going out into the countryside and collecting folk material, listening to the elderly people,
Right.
listening to, the culture and all of that. And so we did a lot of work on that. And going to Moshi, adult education was a part of it. So I would leave work, leave the bank in the afternoon. There were a few of us, and we'd go down to Moshi and did adult literacy program. But it was not just about teaching people how to read and write.
Right.
We utilized Paulo Freire's Education for Critical Consciousness. So it was about creating the consciousness in people. So, for example, one of the key things, like you put on road, you taught them that, you said it in Creole, and then, wow,
Yes.
road. When you see road, what does it say to you?
Okay.
And so it had people to begin to look at it and look at their surroundings and see, but our roads are in a deplorable position. And then but where do you see good roads? Right? So you understand, and that critical consciousness, and why.
Right.
And that led to the class, the people, deciding that they would march on to the Ministry of Communications and Works, to the minister, and ask, for what they needed in Moshi.
Right.
And for the roads, and so and that gave rise to them getting what they needed and getting what they wanted.
Right.
So it was a really, so those of us who were involved in that time, we really, it really worked, because we are accustomed to the banking system of education where we just give and get, but then that critical consciousness.
That is true.
That is very, key.
This is what we need.
And yes,
you just pour work into somebody, but all they have is a set of crammed philosophies, and they don't understand how it relates to them in their real lives.
That's correct. That's correct. So that was very fulfilling, gratifying.
But that must have been uncomfortable in some ways for the powers that be at the time, didn't it?
Well, well, if I was to say, it was we had another group going to the prisons. And they're actually thrown out of the prisons because it is really, to understand, let people understand where they are, where they are at. And so.
No, I have this thing that I quote, and it's funny that we are having this conversation because it said it is dangerous to be right in matters on which the established authorities is wrong, So, so there you were.
But it as you grow older, etc., and maybe at my stage of life, when I say phase of life, I'm still very active.
Yeah.
Begin to maybe understand where people are coming from in terms of certain decisions they make, and certain in authority. In authority, we are so caught up in a lot of cases with this whole thing of power and how we perceive power.
Right.
And we see it throughout in everything, in religion, in politics, in the corporate world. And then, I learned to just smile and say, there we go. This is power play. You know?
But is that
And-
okay? I'm gonna go there with you now because is that because listen, I have a very strong passion, and maybe
Yes.
I'm at now where you were then.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten to that mature part yet, but I'm
Yes.
thinking to myself, isn't that one of the biggest problem? Because they're winning because they're managing the people who know better and are passionate and have the ability to show the different side is now saying, man, can't bother with it no more. So we all just let them do their thing. So there's no balance now. So they just get to reign fully with their whatever it is. And then we now there's no challenge. I mean, Trump, for example, over there, you got all of these things going on, and you have people who you expect to stand up and say something. Is like everybody is nobody don't want to go with it, whether or not they don't want to bother to do it, they don't have the energy for it, or maybe it's because they want to. It's like, but I'm saying to myself, we just celebrated Martin Luther King yesterday. All of these people have done. I mean, if they had taken the stance of some of us today, saying, well,
that's
probably
right.
wouldn't, but it puts us in a very binding position, I guess.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? What are we left to do?
I would I would just look at home here in terms of, as well. I mean, that one is something else.
Yeah.
But we see it in our communities, we see it in our societies. So people like you with the consciousness, and that is the thing. It is those with the consciousness have to speak out. People like me, I've done my dues. I feel I've done my share.
Sometimes we need a little backer. Sometimes we need a little backer with a little bit more substance.
Yes.
We're they're not taking us serious.
well, trust. Yeah, I do, and that's why I take every opportunity to interact.
And we appreciate everything that you've done.
I take opportunity to interact and to share and to stand,
when it's necessary.
and when it's necessary, and to support and to coach and all of that, But it is something that we really and truly have to hear the voices, that there must be the voices that that will speak out, that will have the passion, to be able to say really and truly what we think and how we feel. And so the society, sadly, they categorize us into all different boxes and colors and all of these things. But you have to take your position, and do what you have to do.
Absolutely. Now you've spent time at the Helmet, working with children, extensive amount of work in women issues, working with women to empower them in areas, unconventional areas at that. Let's talk to the need for these sorts of movement, these sorts of pouring in back into. When you did it, what were some of the results that you saw? How fruitful were these sorts of engagement, and are you satisfied that we're doing enough? We have enough persons pouring back into these missions? Is that one of our issues that we're facing as a society? It's causing so much of our breakdown in the fabric. Where are we at with this? I mean, you're an intelligent woman. You've done it. You've put it there yourself. I mean, I'm sure you're looking now, and you're looking at areas. There might be some loopholes. I mean, there might be some ways in which people are failing to step in and make a difference.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah. In terms of women, I remember having a discussion with my husband not too long ago, and I said, I feel like writing a book about. And then I said to him something. I think there's a conspiracy against women when you go right back and then you look at all the different sectors of life, and so and sadly for us women as well, there's this show called Popping the Balloons. I don't know if you've looked at that, right?
I have.
And
I know.
and we look at it. Both my husband is a sociologist, so we look at it and look at the the social how people think and all of that,
The psyche
and it's very and the psyche. And I hear women talking about, I want a husband to whom I can be submissive, and because the Bible says this and that. And I'm what? And that happens. It is there. You know,
Right.
not understanding who we are and we were made for. You know, we are powerful in our own right, and every human being is powerful in his or her own right. However, for the women's side, that we have all kind of cliches like women must not be seen and not heard, and all of these things that have really, you know, created us in at a subconscious level.
Yeah.
You know, and misinterpretation of scripture as well
That's
when
true.
it comes to women and the women's roles and all of that. Total misinterpretation. You know, and so it's gone down very, very, very deep, and that is why for me and many others, we did a lot of things to raise the consciousness of women. I would have seen on my bio as well as one of those who cabinet at the time appointed,
right.
you know, to really support the first center that we had for abused women. And that was, I mean, that home, it was like it was private, and it was, nobody knew where it was located.
Oh, great.
Except
That was good.
oh yes, except for those of us who were part of that committee.
Nice.
And so what happened is these women found a shelter. There was a shelter
Safe
where
haven.
it was a safe haven that nobody knew where they were. They actually with their children. That was telling. And when you heard I mean, sat with them and the stories and they what they went through, that you had no choice. That broke your heart. And that was and so in that sense they were given what they needed to be able to stand on their feet and then move towards some other further development, you know, in their lives and so. But as I said, they had the police, they had the police, you know, that would pick them up, you know, and all of that serious abuse. Okay, I am not sure if the center still exists today, as it was before. I know there were centers where women going on, but then that type of thing, you know, I'm not too sure, and so we need a lot, and it's not just the women. Yeah, we need the men. The men need to be educated and to understand. You know,
getting men abused.
you know the partner. Well, yeah, the men get abused as well as you know as well. And first to understand this as human. At the base of it, I'm a human person. I'm human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm human, and and it extends. I did a retreat not too long ago, and it was an eye-opener for me as well in terms of when we talk about being, you know, helpful to your neighbor and love your neighbor as yourself. And the facilitator brought in the concept of the environment and environment as your neighbor, and wow, and took us and we said because there is a symbiotic relationship. You know, the energy that we use to live on, that is actually given from the plants. And the carbon dioxide that the plants use. You know, the moon, the stars, everything is so interconnected. So if we really got an appreciation of how interdependent, interconnected we are, it then changes our focus and our approach and what we do. Exactly. You know, and what we do. So we do need to have in a lot more consciousness. I know that those who are in the arts and the songs and all of that they have some very conscious ones who are doing their best, and so
Wonderful. Listen, I could have you for a whole day. We need a whole day here to sit down. Listen, I have to make sure we have to find some sort of way, because I think it's absolutely needed at this time.
Yes.
We've got to be honest with ourselves and realize we are at critical times.
Yes.
And we need a whole day where we
yes.
just sit down and we just discuss. We have people speaking on things that, you know, where persons can walk away with a different mindset. This help to change the narrative, because we're heading down a dark hole. I tell them already that we're going down there, and if we don't stop and check, and everybody is coming on a hype and no substance. There's a lot of hype and no substance. And somebody need to pull the reins a little bit, draw back a little bit, and start pouring in some positive energy, some sensible stuff into the atmosphere again. And I'm very grateful for you for signing up this morning.
What I think too as well, Marie, it is important to, like the villages and the towns and all of that. We need to have those groups, there.
Yes.
Because there are things that are happening at a broader level. You have women's conferences, and these are expensive and it's
stuff.
Certain people that can go to these.
Let's
things,
have a little 350.
Which is good. But we need a lot of work to be done at the level of right there in terms of our towns and our villages and all that. I think that's where I see the groundwork needs to happen. And then we need to take it from there.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, it would have sung like we have a doom and gloom atmosphere, but you know what? From a person of yourself, with your level of wisdom and interaction in the current environment, how persons might be feeling at this time, there's a lot of heaviness. There's a lot of, but you've got to find hope nonetheless. So I'm going to open the floor for you as we wrap up, to probably some words of wisdom and encouragement to persons, as we continue to traverse through this uncertain times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. As you said, in everything, there is a ray of light. Mm-hmm. And we have some good examples around us, and we have to not give up, so to speak, because in every situation, there is a seed of learning and positivity. And so this positive mindset is what I think we need to nurture and this is where I talk about spirituality. Mm-hmm. Understanding that we are more than just the skin and the flesh and stuff, but deep within us, there is an indomitable spirit. That, that if we come together, if we bind together, if we decide together, we can rise, and we can rise from the ashes.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that it's all doom and gloom. I think a number of good things has happened in this country. And facilitated by the church, facilitated by the government, facilitated by corporations. Look, you have First National sponsoring this program, and I know there are a number of corporations that are sponsoring. And so what I find as well we need to do, we do not highlight sufficiently the positives that are happening.
Absolutely.
And we need to do that. We do not highlight it sufficiently. What we see, what comes out all the time, are a lot of the negative things, But a lot of people are doing a lot of good work, and there's a lot of good personal development that's happening. When I go to the trade shows and I see the number of young people, and I say hats off, the number of people who are being creative, who are doing things, and my husband and I and my friend, we go and I ask questions. I feel hopeful.
Yes.
When I know that as well from the youth economy, they are getting a mentor, because when I say, and that mentorship. So I think it is for us to and to encourage, especially the young people, to take advantage of the opportunities. There's the internet where you can learn so much, continuous learning from, So I think there's a lot of good, but we have to tap into it. We must become conscious, and we must be people of hope, and do not give up. As you said, if our ancestors had given up, then I don't know where we would have been. So dig into that whole resilience of our people, of our ancestors, and get ourselves to get up and go.
And go. I love it. Absolutely love it. What a way to wrap up the show this morning. I told you. Listen. And speaking of a lot of good, here's another brilliant and amazing good that just happened here this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you for answering my call. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up all the time when you're asked to. Thank you for service. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
for being an awesome human.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's
so
my
much.
pleasure, and I wish you the very best as well in the
Thank
work
you.
that you
Thank
do,
you
you
very
know, to
much.
really, the consciousness that you create among our people.
Thank you
So
so
this
much.
is really good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
You're a
you.
darling. All right. So, guys, that's our show for today. She Speaks. You can join us again next Tuesday. We'll be back here again for another amazing show. That's it. That's a wrap on it. Thank you to the First National Bank. Thank you so much. Listen, we appreciate you. Words can't express. You are amazing, and you are also playing a very vital role in the positivity of the fabric of the nation as well by simply supporting this program. So thank you again. We appreciate you guys. We wrap. That is also my time. High Praise coming up next. And I catch you guys tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the morning. See you guys again at 6 in the morning. I'll be here.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
She speaks, she inspires, she's got the floor. 10:30 a.m. Hear the stories and more. She speaks, she's strong, she's breaking through on Odyssey.
She Speaks Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Hosted by me, Maren, on RCI.
Get fresh looks for the new year at Quartz Optical and save more with Quartz Ready Finance. Get 30% off credit or 15% off cash purchases. Wear it now and get more with Quartz Ready Finance. Book your free eye examination appointment online at quartzoptical.com. Walk-ins also welcomed at any of our 15 convenient locations. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Promotion runs from January 1st to February 28, 2026. Terms and conditions apply.
The Super 6 jackpot is $230,000. Get your tickets today.
Tout couche à l'hôpital nous qu'a dit l'histoire. L'histoire de maman amoun, frère amoun, ja amoun. Et que l'histoire a sous traitement moun ça la fini, ça c'est les pour l'autre chapitre là. Boum. Ça veut dire la caille amoun. Mais toutefois, moun qui ja fini joindre traitement à l'hôpital là, ka weste de SPA. Mis inédita, comme jour, comme semaine, et juste une situation di, comme moi moun sa la ka SPA. Pas puisque yo vle weste, mais puisque personne pas ka vini amase yon. Nous comprenons la vie à sa manière koto wa bawase, et ba on y a chay bagay ka fait. Mais tous les autres jours moun sa la SP. Ça veut dire un autre moun qui peut-être à peine, peut-être à dans situation critique, pas sa joindre à couche à l'hôpital.